to Political News. I'm your host, Julia Sells, alongside Caroline Dosker. Here's Caroline with the latest news on judicial expansion.
Thanks, Julia. Here's the latest on what the Supreme Court would like to do about the expansion of judicial review. It seems that there are some issues in the U.S. Supreme Court. The election between William Marbury and James Madison have brought up some serious things. The Supreme Court must now decide if a law is constitutional or unconstitutional. Consequences would be as they would if the 6th article of the Constitution was broken or disobeyed. Now time for a commercial break. Delicious, refreshing, and exhilarating. The new and popular soda fountain drink containing the properties of the wonderful cocoa plant and the famous cola nuts, for sale by Willis Venable and Nunnally and Raywan. Coming back from the latest on judicial expansion, I've got some related news. Andrew Jackson signed into law the Tariff of 1832. The Compromise Tariff has given Jackson most of the northern votes and half of the southern votes. This is to be called the nullification crisis. Here's Julia with more on Andrew Jackson. He seems to be popping up in the news a lot lately. What do you have, Julia?
Thanks, Caroline. American politician Andrew Jackson and supporters of political movement towards a greater democracy for the common man has just ended. After 16 years of the age of Jacksonian democracy and the era of the common man, this movement has promoted strength in the presidency and the executive branch and bringing the public into the government. This has also favored and helped with geographical expansion. He also tried to stop the government monopoly to the bank, as Jackson thought banks were bad as they cheated the people. This democracy ended as Jackson's termed it as the democracy by the government. SmithKline is seeking skilled cabinet makers for their production line at their Somerville plant. Applications may apply in person on Monday, May 3rd at 8 a.m.
Citizens of Louisiana are upset over the split into the Union as a state and into the Missouri Territory. Other people entering Missouri are mainly from Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, and North Carolina. The split is affecting people in Louisiana, the Union, the Missouri Territory, American territories, Maine, Kansas, Nebraska, and Kentucky. As you all know, Missouri is a state that allows slavery, and the House of Representatives wants to abolish slavery. In order to do so, the House of Representatives will be abolishing slavery in the new territory. Also, the other states involved will have a change in the rights of slaves and slave owners. Women who are slaves and have children will keep their children until they are 25 years old. Then, the slave owner is to free the child. Habitat is a compromise effected between an individual and his environment. This brings to mind some questions on the conditions for slaves and the places they will go when freed from slavery. Here's a message from Abraham Lincoln himself. I was losing interest in politics when the repeal of the Missouri Compromise aroused me again. This shows that the problems occurring have been brought into the attention of some very important figures in our government. Should this worry us or bring us joy that our government leaders are showing interest in the world today? I had for a long time ceased to read a newspaper or pay attention to public affairs, confident they were in good hands, and content to be a passenger in our bark toward the shore from which I am not distant. But this momentous question, like a firebell in the night, awakened and filled me with terror. I considered it at once the knell of the Union. Clearly, the problems occurring are serious, but could the outcome be positive? Interest being sparked within our leaders could bring our country and the states within it to become bigger and better than ever before.
And for another story of the night is about the Whig Party. And don't worry, a wig's not included. This political party contains Henry Clay, John Quincy Adams, Daniel Webster, and William Henry Harrison. These political leaders started this party to oppose Andrew Jackson and the Democrats. This Whig Party stands for protective tariffs, national banking, and federal air for international improvement. In general, this party was to better the states. Our big story of the night is about the Free Soil Party and the attempt to end slavery spreading to the West. Members of the Whig Party, Liberty Party, and the anti-slavery Barn Burner Democrats were in this party. This party was later started August 9, 1848, by Martin Van Buren, who later handed it off to Henry Clay and James G. Birney. A supporter of this party, Salmon P. Chase, is said to have written a slogan for the party saying, "Free soil, free speech, free labor, and free men."
Action.
Chase is a big supporter of the party, saying things like, "We have assembled as a union of freedom for the sake of freedom, forgetting all past differences in a common resolve to maintain the rights of free labor against the aggression of slave power, and to secure a free soil for free people. Our calm but final answer is no more slave states and no more slave territory. Let the soil of our extensive domain be kept free." We hope Chase keeps supporting this party and that the party lasts a long time. We have asked local Dayton Duncan what he thinks of everything that's going on. This is what he has to say. Every time that they thought that they had hodgepodge something together, some new land in the West would become available that America were settling and wanted to bring into the Union, and it kept bringing it right back to Congress. Well, will it be free or slave, and will that upset this delicate balance that was constructed 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or 30 years ago? Thanks for watching Political News. I'm Julia.
And I'm Caroline, and we'll see you next time we have a history project.